Evening. How's everybody? Got through 2 days of appalling heat, I'm guessing. Just about.
Hello to Bente on YouTube.
I'll have a look. Hi, Lucille. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Wendy. Dad's fine, except that he didn't have the operation because they cancelled it. Again. The day before, again.
Hopefully a phone call tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully we'll find out more. They said they'd give me a ring at the end of this week. But yeah, he's getting a bit desperate now because come the end of the month and I'm really going to struggle for time to spend with him. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Delcy. Hi, Alison. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Karen. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Hi, Peggy. I've just been looking at your yearbox. I'm going to go and comment on it when we're done. It's amazing.
Bente says no heat here, 15 degrees.
Hi, Bente. Sorry, I meant to come and have a look, and then I got sidetracked. Hi, Janelle.
It has cooled down a hell of a lot.
It is a lot cooler than it was, and it's nice with the window open. It's warmer in the house than outside it, though, which is quite typical for UK houses. They're designed to keep heat in, and oh my goodness, do they ever.
Oh,
hi, Angela. Hi, Chloe. Yeah, me too. I'm melting. Hi, Millie.
There's a nice breeze, huh?
It's much nicer than it was. Yeah, definitely. Cooling down. Right, okay, so tonight, this shouldn't take too long, to be honest with you. And we're going to take it kind of like page by page. So the way that I've described it is that these 2 pages here, these narrow ones, I'm calling those page 1, because why not? And what I'm going to do is we're going to put these 2 pockets on here on the front, because you can see there's 2 pockets here with slants on at the front, and we'll make the photo mats. And then on the back of each of these as well, they've got this little sort of flippy thing, which I haven't decorated on the back of, and I'm not going to until the end either. But what I will say is you've got a choice as to how you do this, and if you've got a kit, you've got both options. I've just used this clip here, but what you could do is put there's some eyelets, so you could put eyelets in here and then tie this with a bit of ribbon, which is also in your kit. But we're not going to do that until the end, because at the moment I just want to really focus on just base decorating. So it's not going to be a long class tonight, but that is what I'm wanting to do. Okay, so I don't, what's 95 degrees in Celsius?
It's about what it's been now.
Yes, flaps, Lorraine. So what I need you to do is get the 2 pieces. 35, yeah. Yeah, well, that was about yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was that hot in our bedroom.
Yeah, it was.
And more.
So what I want you to do is get the 2 narrowest pieces, the 2 base pieces. We made all of them last week, all the different sizes, but these are the narrowest. So you've got I don't know, I've put the rest of them somewhere safe, I think.
Yes, somewhere safe.
So last week we made these back pages, and then these that go on top. And if you remember, they're kind of like all different sizes. So what we're going to be working on tonight is the narrowest ones, okay? So you want both of those. And these measure, let me just tell you, these measure 5.5 by 10 inches, and they are enclosed on 3 sides, okay? So those are the pieces that we're going to be working on tonight, all right?
Cool.
Not cool. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is grab your trimmer, and we're going to cut out the front bits first, which are those angled sort of pockets. No, you haven't missed anything out. We're just discussing which bit we're going to be working on, which is these narrow pieces. So I want you to cut 2 at 6 by 6.5 inches. So cut 2 at 6 by 6.5. Okay, and then I want you to cut 2 at 5.5 by 6. So cut 2 at 5.5 by 6 inches.
Renee on YouTube says hi, Cal.
Hi, Renee.
She's watching Captain Taylor. It's cooled off there today.
A little bit. So we're cutting 2 at 5.5 by 6. Okay. Right. So if you grab your scoreboard and whatever tool you use to score with, I like to use a embossing tool, which I've just put somewhere. Here we go. Right, now, starting on these bigger ones, what we're going to do is we're going to score on 2 sides so that the score lines intersect. So it doesn't really matter which one you start on. That isn't even straight.
Proceed towards it.
6 by 6.5. Okay. All right. So you're going to score once on, which one have I done it round there? On the 6.5. Yeah, 6 inch side. So if you put your 6 inches at the top and score at 1/2 inch, and then turn it round 90 degrees, so you're scoring on the 6.5 inch side, you're going to have a piece that looks like this. Hi, Candice. Hi, Kari. So you're going to just, oh yes, hi Jill, hi Diana. Always cool. Hi Sue. So here, what I've done is I've got these 2 intersecting score lines and I've got this little square on the bottom there, okay? And I want to do the same on both. So I'm going to score on the 6 inch side at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to score on the 6.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. So once again, I've got these intersecting score lines, okay, just the 2. Now the other 2 pieces that we've got, which were 5.5 by 6, we're going to do exactly the same. So we're scoring on the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, turning it 90 degrees and cutting on the scoring on the 6 inch side at 1/2 inch. So once again, you've got these 2 intersecting score lines, okay, just on 2 sides. And I want you to do the same again. So you're going to score on the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch, turn it round 90 degrees, and you're going to score on the 6 inch side at 1/2 inch. Okay, so pop your scoreboard away for a minute. And what we're going to do first, before we get round to folding and scoring everything and burnishing everything down here, is we're going to cut the slants into these pockets. So we're going to start with the smaller one that is 5.5 by 6, okay, and that's this one here. So what I want you to do is I want you to get yourself a pencil, okay, and I want you to measure 2 inches up from the bottom. So here, let me just get this into shot. So here, just for example, what I'm doing is I've got my intersecting score line on the left, and I'm going to score on the right hand piece at 2 inches. Can't see what I'm doing. At 2 inches, okay, from the very bottom. So that's 2 inches from the very bottom. Okay, so I've got myself a little pencil mark. Hello. And then, can't see. I'm going to do exactly the same at the top. So I'm going to measure in from the left-hand top corner at 2 inches. This is on the smaller piece. Okay. Well, actually, it's the same on both, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. So what you can see here is I've got these 2 marks there and there. All right. Now, what you can do is if you put those 2 together, so you've got the score lines like that. Okay. You can just cut now. We're going to cut off between those 2 marks. Now, you can mark them all separately and cut them if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But I've now lined those up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off at an angle between those two pencil marks that I made, okay? Like that, all right? So if I turn that over now, I've got my two pockets, okay? And then I've got my little square where the score lines intersect there, and I've got one there. And I'm going to do exactly the same on the other pieces. So I'm going to put this one, I'm going to have my intersecting score lines to the left. I'm going to measure up 2 inches from the corner that's opposite where those score lines intersect. So I'm going to measure 2 inches there. And then I'm going to measure 2 inches up from the top left as well, okay? So I've got a mark here and I've got a mark here. So if I grab my other one, put those on top of each other so that the squares are together like that, I'm now going to cut that off there as well, okay? So I'm going to find out where those 2 marks are, line them up on my trimmer and cut them off. So I've now got those as well, okay? So that's going to fit on there and that's going to fit on there, okay? So you can see, all right? Now, what we want to do is cut off this little square here. So I'm going to grab my scissors and we're going to do a little bit of kinky mitering. So I'm going to snip up to where the score line intersects. I'm going to change the angle of my scissors and I'm going to cut off that little square where the score lines intersect, okay? So it's not a straight across mitre, it's got a bit of a kink in it, which is why we call it a kinky mitre, okay? And I'm going to do the same on all 4 pieces. Right. So once I've done that, I'm going to fold on my score lines like that. But just bear in mind that you need them to be opposite ways round to each other, okay? So I know if you score on a certain way, you're supposed to fold a certain way, but honestly, I really don't think it matters that much. So you've got your 2 opposite pockets like that, and then you're going to have the other 2 smaller pockets. One that goes there. And one that goes there, okay? So now what we're going to do is burnish so we get some really nice sharp creases. Okay. So if you burnish on all of those flaps, we're going to get some nice sharp creases. Okay, so now I'm going to glue these one on top of the other, all right? So I'm going to get my glue, wherever that is here, probably dried by now. Now, you're going to say to me, why am I not decorating my pocket before I put this on? And the truth of the matter is, the reason why I'm not doing that is because we don't need to waste a whole piece of paper on... This isn't straight. Why is that not straight? Hold on, so let me just do that again because it's just not straight for some reason. What's going on here? I'm going to cut that out again. There's something not right there. Because we've got to be quite careful with the amount of pattern paper that we're using, and I don't want to waste a whole sheet on it. Let me just do this one again quickly. 6 by 6.5.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Now I'm going to find out it's the one that's underneath that's not straight. Oh, I've just done the big one again. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Maybe that was the one that wasn't straight. Let's try again.
Kimberly asks, is it 2 inches over and up on both sides?
It's 2 inches from the bottom, not from the score line. So if I just show you with this one, I've got my intersecting score lines there. Okay, so I'm going to go over this side and I'm going to just measure 2 inches. From the bottom to there, and then I'm going to do the same at the top. So 2 inches there. Let's just take that off. There we go. Right. Where's the one I've just two? Okay. Right. Let's try again. Burnish this.
Is it the same for the large and the small one?
Yes, both 2 inches from the top and the bottom. There. Right, let's see if this is straight. Let's try again. Pop that on there. Yes, this one's straight, so that's a good start. So this is one, this is this one. This is going to go on the right-hand side. So my pockets are opening to the left, okay, and I've just put one on top of the other there. And then the other one, that is going to sit that way round. Make sure you're folding it right so that you've got the same distance top and bottom here, because you can easily fold it wrong and it ends up looking like it doesn't go together, but it does. It just means that you folded it the wrong way. So just turn your flaps around the other way and it'll all go together and look like this. So you've got the same distance. It's 1/2 inch here and 1/2 inch at the top. Okay. Right, let's try this one. Let's pop that on there. Yep, that's straight. I don't know what was wrong with that other one. Very out of line. Okay, so that one's going to go on there, and that one's going to go on there like that. So if we grab our very base page, you know, the base pages that we made at the very, very start, these ones that are 5.5 by 10, for me, when I'm putting pages together, the side that hasn't got the flaps, because you can see that's got the flaps on the other side, the side that hasn't got the flaps is the top. You don't have to do it like that. It doesn't matter. It's just the way that I do it, just so that in my head I know where things go. So I've got my left-hand piece. I've got it, so there's no flaps. So it's nice and smooth. And my opening is to the left. Okay? Now I've got this, which is my double slanted pocket. That is going to fit on the bottom there like that. Okay? So let me move this up a bit. Oh, stuff everywhere. Right. So this is going to fit down here, okay? And it will fit exactly right across the page, all right? So let me put some glue onto those flaps there. Okay, so my pocket is going to open to the right-hand side. So this is going right down at the very bottom. Now, I have just uploaded this evening. There's a post in Paper Scissors Story called Mini Books and Where to Find Them. This is the most important post in the group, okay? It's pinned to the top of the page. It's one of the featured posts. And in it are photographs of every book we've ever made, alongside a link that will take you to where the information for that book is stored. So it might be that, just say, for instance, a subscription box, it'll take you to, you know, the information about how to purchase, etc., etc. But for the majority of books, what it's going to do is take you directly into our OneDrive, where you will find everything you need to make the book that you've clicked on. So you'll find that there's 3 folders inside each book, description, whatever. There is one folder called Book Photos, which has got book photos in it. There's a surprise. There's one photo called Class Documents, and there's one folder called Class Videos. Now, it might be that the videos aren't in there because they're still in the group, although I'm probably going to have to put links to them rather than the actual classes in the future. But I've just put up the one for Spectrum Sherbet. So if you go into that, you can see the photographs, okay, so that you've got a clear idea of what goes on each page. And you might find that really, really useful when you're decorating, okay? So that has been done today so that you can see all of the photographs for the book. Okay, so this other one, the other side, this has got the opening to the right-hand side, and we're going to have this pointing open to the left. So here, this is my smooth side, so there's no flaps. I'm going to put some glue on here. Like that. And I'm going to attach this to the very bottom corner of that page, okay? Like that. Very easy. Okay. So those are my 2 pages, and they've got these 2 little pockets on, okay? Now I want to make these flaps to go on the back, and then we'll come back and decorate together. Okay, so if you grab your trimmer, I want you to cut 4 at 5.5 by 4 inches. Oh, oh, am I out of card? No. So I want you to cut 4 at 5.5 by 4 inches. Okay. I'll use some 12 by 12. I don't know where the rest of my card's gone. Right. So you're cutting 4 at 5.5 by 4 inches. Okay, there we go. Right, so if you grab your scoreboards, I want you to score on the 4-inch side. So that means put the 4-inch piece across the top there. I want you to score at 1/2 inch. And that is the same on all 4 pieces, okay? So score at 1/2 inch on the 4-inch side. Now, this next bit's up to you. But if you want, you can round the corners of these pieces opposite the score. So you've got the score line down here. And if you want to put an edge on, you might want to, you know, get out some dies and make an edge. Or you can just use, you know, you might have a punch that gives you a nice corner edge. You might just want to round the corners. It's entirely up to you, but I would do it at this stage, okay? Before you glue it on. Okay, so I've got those 4 pieces, and all I'm going to do now is just fold on my score line, and then I am going to burnish. Okay. So some nice sharp creases here. So these 2 pieces that we've put our pockets on, I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to glue one of these to the bottom, and I'm going to glue one to the top opposite each other like that, okay? So let me grab my glue. So I'm going to glue one to the very bottom. And this will fit exactly side to side, like that. And then I'm going to glue one on the other side as well. So one on the top and one on the bottom, like that.
Oh, Jen says hi.
Hi, Jen. Have you had your appointment?
She's in the waiting room.
Oh. I had a CT scan yesterday, and I got there early because most of the roads were closed around us because it was the Commonwealth Games baton thing that was going on. So I left a bit early to make sure that I got to the place on time, and I was early. And I am so glad because it was all air conditioned. So I sat in the waiting room and I was so slow at going for my appointment, but they saw me early because I was early. Oh, but it was lovely. It was so cold in there. Wonderful.
No one should have called me.
No, it was great. It was really lovely. Right. Okay, so that's kind of it put together. But what I want to do now with you is I do want to do the decorating, because with the paper that we've got, it's really tight. Okay. You know how we use it. I mean, if I show you, I don't know if I've still got it here. Hold on. This is what I've got left, and this is packaging. Okay, that's packaging, and then there's just so little. There's loads of ephemera, but it's just so little paper left. Really, very little indeed. So it is very tight. So what I would suggest you do, you might not want your book to look like mine. In which case, I would say the first thing you need to do is decide what paper you're going to put on the front. And the back's not so bad. You can put any paper on the back. But you need to decide what you're going to use on your front cover and put it to one side, because that you don't want to accidentally use it. Yes, I am speaking from experience. So whatever piece you choose for your front, put that to one side now, which means the rest of it is fair game. Now, what you might not realise is that these papers, they're in two parts, really. You've got the strawberry lemonade, which is this pinky tone, and you've got the tidal wave, which is the bluey greeny tone. Now, the 12 by 12 collection packs have both of those in. It's when you get down to like the 6 by 8 papers that you can buy, and then some of the ephemera is very much organised on a colour basis. But what I've tried to do in my book is I've tried to bear in mind that there are these two colorways within the papers. So, for instance, when you look at these pages, you can see here that I've used the strawberry lemonade here and here, and I've used the tidal wave here and here, but these bits, I've swapped them. So I've got the strawberry lemonade there and the tidal wave there. And then as you go through, you'll see that I've kind of done that in other places as well. So for instance, here on this side, I've used strawberry lemonade, and on this side, I've used the tidal wave. Okay, so just a little tip there as you go through with regard to the paper, something that you might like to consider. But how you decorate it, this is what makes this book, this is what makes any book special to you, because how you decorate it. So I am going to follow exactly what I've done, because I know it works. So I'm going to get my papers, and if you've had a kit, you've got 2 packs of the 12 by 12. You've got the collection pack and you've got the foundations pack. Now, that foundations paper is what I used for my front page. But here, within the classic collection pack, this is where I've taken the rest of the book. So I'm going to look through for... you've got some cutter parts as well, but I did actually use that as paper. So here you can see this piece, you're getting the 2 colorways. So if I take this piece of cardstock, and you'll notice this isn't paper, this is cardstock, it is super thick. But what I've done is I've cut it and I've used 1/2 as my strawberry lemonade and 1/2 as my tidal wave. Okay, so I'm going to cut these 2 bits out first. So let me just put that up there so I can see what I'm doing. So I need to cut, and like I said, it's tight, so I'm going to be very cautious about what I'm using. So I know that this is 5.5 inches across. Now, when I'm cutting, I like to leave 1/8 of an inch as a reveal. So instead of cutting 5.5, I'm going to cut 4 3/8. No, 5 3/8. Are you listening to me, dear? Yeah, so I'm going to cut 5 3/8 across. Now, I could cut that at 9 7/8, but what's the point of wasting this little bit here, because you're not going to see it. So I am going to cut it at 8.5 inches. Okay, so if I get this piece first and I cut it at 8.5 inches, and this is exactly 8.5. This isn't less than. Let me just double check this because, you know, measure twice, cut once.
Lorraine says just 2 sheets. I don't know what that was in reference to.
Well, what you're talking about for the front, I've just kept 1 sheet back. Because whatever you put on the back doesn't really matter because nobody ever looks at the back. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 8.5 exactly. Okay, so I'll put that to one side. And then I'm going to cut one side at 5 3/8. And then I'm going to cut the other side at 5 3/8. So you can see that what I've got here are my tidal wave and strawberry. I keep wanting to call it strawberry shortcake, and I know that's not right. Strawberry lemonade. So that is going to slip inside there like that. And this is going to slip inside there like that. Okay, right. And because this is all the way across, it doesn't matter that we've cut that short. So I'm going to glue those on now. If you want to ink your edges at this point. That's entirely up to you. Don't ask me what colour. You could use black. You could use a brown to vintage it up a bit more. It's entirely up to you. You could use the colour, I guess, to match with the papers, or like me, you can just leave it blank. If I'm using paper that's got a very obvious, you know, like a white core, then I'll tend to do it like a black to match my papers. But this one hasn't really, so I'm not that bothered. Okay. It's drying too quickly. It's still hot. Okay. I love putting the paper on because it just makes such a difference. This is when everything starts to, you know, come alive. Okay, so I've got those two. Right, now, I think it's easiest to start with these pieces. So let me just see what I've used. That looks like... Right, let me just have a look and see what I've done on the front. So for my front, if you want to do it exactly the same, for my front piece, I have used out this one. Is it this one? No. Must have been that one. So that's the piece that I've used for my front. So it's from the Foundations and it's called Rainbow SS36196. Okay, so that's the piece that I've used for my front. So I'm going to put that to one side. Okay, then down here, looking at it, I'm going to guess that I used this one. No. This one. So I've used this piece, which is called Painted Foundations Prism 36134. And I've used that for these two pieces here. So let me measure what I need to cut. So I need to cut two pieces that are 5.5. Well, no, they're not 5.5, are they? They're 5. 5 by 5.5 height. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the height piece. And I'm going to cut this at 5 3/8. Okay, like that. So I've just cut that top piece off, all right? And now what I need to do is cut these at 5 inches. So I'm going to do the same again. So I'm keeping the tidal wave colours on this side, and I'm going to keep the strawberry lemonade colours on that side. So let me cut this way. So this is going to be 4 7/8, which will be that piece. And then this piece will be 4 7/8. And that's going to go there like that. Okay. So now what I need to do is cut out the slant. So if I put this onto my pocket, I'm going to grab myself, I like to use my knife here, and I'm going to mark where I need to cut. So that slant is going to start about there. Ow. I can't see. No, we'll put that in there so I can see. Okay, so there. Okay, so now I'm going to cut off between those two marks that I've made. Okay, so that is going to stick on there like that. Okay, so you can see that lines up. So I've still got my reveal all the way round. And now I'm going to do the same on this piece over here. So let me pop that on there. Let's make a mark there. I'm going to make a mark there. And I'm going to cut that off too. So line that up on my trimmer. And that is going to fit on there like that. So let's take a little bit of glue. And let's pop that on there like that. So I've still got my reveal. Okay. Right, now, I cannot see for the life of me which pieces these are. Aha. So, what have I got here? I'm thinking... It's these. Yeah, it's this piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece that fits in there, but I'm going to cut that corner off. So if I measure the sizes that I need, there it is. This is going to be 5.5 by 6, as I recall. Yep. So let me cut this at 6 inches, except it's not actually. It's 5 7/8. I need to redo my thingy on here because I can't see the thing anymore.
Oh. Really?
Okay. And keep these bits. Trust me, you're going to need them. And then it was 5.5, wasn't it? So that's 5 3/8. So I've got my turquoisey one and I've got the pinky one. Okay. Right. Now, these ones I swapped them round and I did them this way. So that is going to fit. And you see already it's been a bit awkward fitting it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these off. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down. So if I pop my piece on there, make sure that it lines up. I could do trimming that off a tiny bit. Let me just trim that down a bit. Yep. So the first thing we're going to do is cut this piece off. So exactly the same way as I did before. I'm going to make a mark there. And I'm going to make a mark there. So let me chop that off. Okay, so that's going to fit on there like that. But actually what I want to do is to make it easy for myself to fit it in. I'm going to just make a couple of random marks there like that. And I'm going to cut that corner off. Like that. Okay, so I've got a piece that's shaped like that, and that is going to fit on there like that. So if I just take my glue, let's pop that in there. And it'll fit a whole lot easier and a whole lot nicer because we've cut that edge off. Okay, so there we go. So that's that page. And now I'm going to do exactly the same on the page over here. So let me line that up. Let's pop a mark there. And there. Let's cut that off. Turn it round. And let's cut about there. So now I just need to put some glue on there. Oh, very nice. I've mine done a week on Friday. I look like a right muppet at the moment. You know, like Animal.
I know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I look like. Okay, so that's the front base matted or base decorated. So now what I want to do is have a look at the back bits, okay? So I know that for one of them at least, I've used the back cutty outy bit. So let me just take these off for a minute. Let's get rid of these.
Marina's Creations on YouTube says hi, loves the paper.
Hi Marina. Yeah, Spectrum Sherbet by 49 and Market. It's just a joy. Okay, so what I've used on the back here, I don't know if you can see on both of them, is this rather pretty flowery one, which is actually some cutter parts from the back page of, let me show you. So you've got your front page here, which is your 12 by 12 collection pack. Okay, the classics. On the back here, we've got these. So I'm going to use these to decorate that. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to cut it down to just under 10 inches. So 9 7/8 of an inch. Okay. So 9 7/8 of an inch, like that. And then I'm going to cut at 5.5. Now, I will say this, I'm going to trim these two edges because there's an awful lot of white there, which will look, I think, a little out of place. So if I just trim that off and then cut my 5.5 like that, it doesn't look like there's a great big white line down it, if that makes sense. Okay, so I've got those two pieces. And those are going to fit inside here, like that, and inside there, like that. Okay, so I'm going to decorate that. Now, make sure that you're sticking it on the right way up. So let's put some glue. On there.
Hi on YouTube says morning. Glad that it's cooled down some.
Morning, Faye. Okay, so there we go. So that's on like that. I'm not going to do these inside bits just at the moment. We're going to leave those till last. And then I'm going to glue on the other side as well.
Tracy said it's hot in North Wales when it is in ours. Same in ours.
Yeah, it's still hot here. Okay. Right. All right, so we've got those two pieces, and now I'm just going to do these outsides. So let me see what I've used, because I can't remember. Okay, so we've got some dots. So let me see if I can find the dots. Now, they look like they're out of the foundations pack to me. That looks like it might be dots. So let's cut those. So these pieces are 5.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to cut 3.5 first. So 3.5. And I'm going to use the blue one down the bottom, I think. So this is called Foundation Speckles, which is 36158. And I'm going to cut this down to 5 3/8. Now, the way that I've cut it, once again, I've distinguished between the strawberry lemonade and the tidal wave. It's called Painted Foundation Speckled 36158. 36158. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, of course, sort out my edges. So those are my pink and those are my tidal wave. So let's round those corners. Let's pop that on there. I'll stick these on. Now I've had our website updated today. It's not really much different apart from the front page. And you'll notice on there that there's a lot more information about what's going on, and I'm hoping to update the blog part of it daily. So do pop along and have a look, and especially at the new front page design. And you'll also see that there is a special page there for my Graphic 45 projects, which I'll be adding to over the next week or two, because there have been quite a few, as you are no doubt aware. But do pop along and have a look at the new look website, because I think it's going to be cool. So don't forget to go and look at it every so often, because there's going to be lots of new news and all sorts of things on there. So I'm hoping over the next year to kind of like develop that a bit more, so that you can go on and find the books and do searches for how much paper you've got and how many photos you want in a book, etc., etc. So this is just that first step towards that. So do pop along and have a look. Right, there we go. So that is my first page. So I'm calling this page 1. So we've got page 1, front and back done. I haven't decorated those. I'm not going to do that until the end to see what I've got left. Okay, so that is where we are right now. Okay. So next week, we'll start looking at page 2. We certainly won't be finishing it, but we can get it started. So if you want to put everything away once you've decorated, and then next week, you'll be ready to carry on. So tomorrow, we are in Crafting Together with All Brands with part 4, maybe, of the pop-up book. So that's all good. I think that's it until next week, next Wednesday. If anything changes with Dad, I'll let you know. I hope to goodness they sort it out quickly, because I'm actually leaving Mark at the end of next weekend, and I'm actually taking 4 days off, and I'm going away without him, bless him. But he wouldn't. You wouldn't be remotely interested, because my university has a reunion, a special for 200th anniversary of the university. So my best uni friend and I are going back to relive our youth. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Except you'll be going to bed at 9.
Yeah, that's it, actually. That's exactly it. No drinking, bed at 9. Pretty much, yeah, very different from how it used to be. So we'll see how that goes. I might even send you some pictures if you're really lucky. So there we go, guys. Thank you for joining us this evening. We will see you again tomorrow at 7:30 if you're making the pop-up book. And until then, stay cool. We'll see you soon. Bye. Where are my glasses? I've lost my glasses.